99% of the agents out there are going to tell you 100% of the time that it is a great time to buy or sell. And as annoying as that is for me, I'm sure it's just as annoying for you. And the reality is, who in the world knows if it is a good time to move or not? Nobody has a crystal ball. So if you're watching this, I'm going to go through right now the pros and cons of buying and the pros and cons of selling right now. Now, these obviously will change. So if you're watching this video in the future, I'll probably keep this updated because even writing this, I think it's actually super helpful. So I'm going to go through this right now. If you're new to the channel, don't know who I am, my name is Stubbs. I'm a team leader, owner of Onyx Homes. We're a real estate sales team that has helped over 770 people move all over Southern California just since 2020. Now, I make these videos and this channel all about Orange County just so that we can help you make your next move a little bit easier so you can make better decisions. All right, so let's go ahead and dive in. I'm gonna go pros and cons of buying first, and then I'm gonna talk about selling second. So if you wanna skip, go for it. But let's start with the pros of buying right now. Now, I will say with a gigantic caveat that it depends on you and your unique situation, always. But let's go through the pros. So the pros of buying right now. Number one, first and foremost, there is way less competition than there has been over the last 5 years. And honestly, we are seeing as many transactions happening right now as we saw like at the bottom of the market in 2008. So like in the heat of the financial crisis, there were barely fewer transactions that are happening right now. So there's way less buyer competition out there. Now, having said that, I'm gonna go deeper on that when we get to the cons, but for the time being, there is way less buyer competition, which is pro number one to buying right now. So this means there are fewer multiple offer situations right now. Now, number two, slight dip in interest rates. This is very timely. So depending on when you're watching this, interest rates change literally every day, all the time. But at the time that I'm writing this and filming the video, even from the time that I wrote this yesterday to filming now, rates have ticked back up a little bit. Having said that, they are slightly lower than we've seen over the last year. So it's a good, right now is a good dip for way less competition and interest rates slightly less, right? So this is increasing your affordability over the last few months. That's pro number two. Pro number three is there's way more inventory to choose from. So on top of there being less competition, there's way more inventory. And we are getting to a normal level of inventory in the market here, at least in Orange County. Nationwide, we're like big inventory levels. However, in Orange County, it's still, we're just getting back to normal. So if you've been at all shopping around for the last 5 years, there's like 3 times almost more inventory, like 2.5 times more inventory right now than there was, say, for example, in 2021. And homes are sitting on the market a little bit longer, so you have a little bit more time to react. That is number three. Number four is we're in a neutral market, neutral even maybe to a buyer's market. So there's way more negotiation that can happen for you as the buyer. So if you were looking for a closing cost credit, if you're looking for a good deal, right, price reductions, whatever it might be, there's way more negotiating leverage right now than we've seen in a very long time, at least over the last 5 years. So if you want a good deal, if you want to negotiate, right now is a fantastic time for that. This is the last pro, and then I'm going to move on to cons and I'll give you a wrap up. So number 5 is you can get into the market now while there's less competition, way more inventory to choose from, way more negotiating power, even with the slight little interest rate dip. And there are a lot, I mean a lot, of buyers and sellers sitting on the fence right now. So a lot of people just like are over there waiting to see what's going to happen. And there's a lot of people that are just like, you know what, I'm going to get into the market. Let me give you 2 quick stories here. When I bought my first condo townhome, this was 2018. I was told, I was not an agent at this time, don't buy a house. Houses are the most expensive. The prices are the highest they've ever been, was what I was told 8 years ago or whatever it was. And if I had waited for prices to come down, I would still be waiting and I would never have bought, right? Because prices are never going to go back to where they were 8 years ago. Maybe not never, but like they're never going to go that low. So that advice I hear so often from buyers is like, prices are the highest they've ever been. I'm going to wait till they come down. Because we've talked to a lot of consumers that waited. They waited in 2020, they waited in 21, they waited in 22, they waited in 23, they waited in 24, and they're still waiting right now and just praying to God the prices come down. And like, here's the reality. If prices got cut in half, which is never gonna happen, we'd be back to like 2019 numbers. So like, how is waiting actually working? And here's a quote from you from Robert Allen. I love this quote. It's, you do not wait to buy real estate, you buy real estate and wait. So you're not like trying to buy Bitcoin at the low and then sell it at the high. That's not real estate. Like real estate is you buy a house, you live in it for 10 years, it is going to be worth more 10 years from now. It's not guaranteed, but you know what I mean. So that's the pros. All right, let's move on to the cons. These would be reasons to not buy right now. Prices are at all-time high. This might be a brutal little con section. Prices are at all-time high. So remember that thing that I was told 8 years ago or whatever is still true today. Prices are all-time high. Even as of, I'm filming this on July 8th, June, we just had a new record. We went from a median home price in Orange County of $1.2 million. It just ticked up $30,000. A lot of people were expecting prices to be dropping. The national headlines, California prices drop. Well, they didn't in Orange County. So prices are the highest they've ever been. Number two, rates are still relatively high. If you look over the last 20 years, rates are still high. Now, if you look over 30 or 40 years, rates are really low. But I will say 20 years is a very long stretch to say like rates are pretty high, right? Especially coming off of what we just experienced early 2020s. And then even like the teens, rates were in the 4-ish, 5-ish range, and we're at like closer to 7, right? So rates are still higher. Con number 3, this is underrated con, depending on your situation, is lending requirements are on an all-time high. Now, I'll spin a pro to this in the sense of like the loans that are out there, the people that have loans on homes are well qualified because getting a loan has been harder now than it has for a very long time. Having said that, in 2008, it was like they were given like Oprah. They were giving loans away like candy. Like anybody could get no income verification, no asset verification. Sure, you can qualify for $1 million loan. That's not been the case at all really since 2009, but certainly not since 2020. Lending requirements have been really tight. So if you are not a W-2, good credit, whatever, it can be a little bit harder to get a loan right now. Having said that, it's probably good for the overall market for that to be the case. And number two, there are still like specialized lenders, or rather lenders that have specialized programs. It's where most people still can get a loan, but there's like no income, no credit, no assets. That doesn't exist anymore, right? So those are the 3 cons that I have for buying a home right now. Now, there's no secrets. It is expensive to buy a house right now. Interest rates are high and prices are high. That's all there is to it. And even if prices came down 10 or 20%, still overall, it's expensive. If rates came down to 5%, we would see it get more affordable, but it would still be the highest prices have ever been. And I swear, promise you, if rates came down to 6%, but if they came down to 5%, we would just see a monster flood of buyer demand, supply would get eaten back up, prices would go way up. Okay, so that's the pros and cons of buying right now. Is it a good time to buy right now? I don't know, depends on your situation. Now, having said that, if you do want to talk about you and your unique situation, you can go to allaboutoc.com, drop your information and book a quick discovery call with our team, and we can see how we can help you accomplish whatever the goals are. But let's get on to the pros and cons of selling right now. This is maybe a little bit more intricate than it is buying right now. So I got 3 pros and then I have 4 cons. Pro number 1, sellers are still getting their price, with a big fat asterisk and caveat that assuming you're listed correctly as a hot listing. I'm gonna get more into that in a second. Number 2, pro, price is the highest they've ever been. So where that is a con for buyers, that is a pro for sellers. If you are buying and selling, it's a wash. So price is the highest they've ever been. Equity is holding. Real estate values in Orange County are still incredibly strong. And in Southern California, overall, they're very strong, but incredibly strong in Orange County. So prices are still the highest they've ever been. We hit that new peak of $1.23 million. So $1,230,000 is the new peak. So that's a pro of selling right now, is you're gonna sell at the highest the prices have ever been. Now, if you would have said last month was the highest and the month before that and the month before it, you get the point, right? We're up like 3% year over year price increase. Number 3, this is a huge bonus if this is you. If you're selling and buying at the same time, there's such a good opportunity. And the reason for this is we are seeing 2 different markets. If you followed any of our content on the housing market, of what's actually going on in the housing market, we have 2 different markets right now. And I alluded to this when I said hot listings, is we have hot listings, which look good, priced right, and are marketed well. Those are selling very fast. This side of the market, which is a good sized segment of the market, sellers are preparing their house for sale, so it looks good. They're pricing it correctly to market value, and they are hiring an agent that actually knows how to market. This right here, these are selling fast, and they're selling for market value or above, and you will see multiple offers over here. On this side is everything else, and it's much bigger. And this is where all the inventory is sitting, not selling. It's either overpriced, undermarketed, or they didn't do the preparation. So if you are buying and selling at the same time, I love the idea, if you can, to buy over here and sell like this, meaning buy a ugly listing is what we're calling it, that's undermarketed, overpriced, doesn't look good. Buy that house for a screaming deal. These are screaming deals over here, meaning it's not a pro if you do that, if you're selling. And then over here, you're gonna get a great price for your house. So this is where people that are buying and selling at the same time have a massive opportunity right now. I won't go too much more into that. If you are in this situation and want to talk to our team, like I said, go to allaboutOC.com, drop your information. Link is in the description as well too. Now let's go to the cons of selling, right? Because there are pros of selling right now if you do it right. There's a really narrow pros to selling right now, and it's a gigantic asterisk of if you do it right. Now, if you do it wrong, here are the cons. So there's way more competition right now for listings. So you want to make sure you make yours a hot listing. Way more competition right now, meaning there's more inventory on the market. Buyers have more to choose from, sellers have more competition. Con number 2, overpricing your home is going to lead to 0 tours. And I promise you, 0 tours equals 0 offers equals do not sell the house. Now, I'm slightly exaggerating when I say 0 tours, but I'm saying this with context of we list a lot of houses also. We help a lot of buyers and we list a lot of homes. For example, we have 44 buyers and sellers that are under contract right now, and we have 21 active listings that are on the market. And I can tell you, the sellers that chose to overprice their house are getting no activity. It's not like, well, you know what, Christian, we're gonna leave some room for negotiation. So our home is worth, we think 900,000. Let's price it at $1 million and maybe we'll get 950. Like, nobody's gonna look at the house. I mean, I cannot emphasize that enough right now. We can only give our clients as much advice as possible. It's their house, their money. They can choose what to do what they want. And at some point, if a seller is overpricing the property too much, we'll say, hey, you know what? You just go list with somebody else that's gonna take that listing and buy the listing at this higher price. So that's number 2. Number 3 is you're going to actually need to get your home prepared. Now, let me pull back in price. And so there's 3 terms: looks good, priced right, marketed well, right? Those are the 3 things to a hot listing. So if we talk about looks good, it is relative to price. So if you are going to shoot for the moon and pray to God that the home sells for that number, if you're gonna price it above market value, your house better look above market value. Let me totally exaggerate. If you're gonna price your home to be the highest comp in the whole neighborhood and your home is completely original and in really bad condition, right? That doesn't make sense. But if you're gonna be the lowest price comp in your whole neighborhood and your house looks worse than everything else in the neighborhood, that makes sense. So looks good relative to price. Same thing is like if your home is the Taj Mahal remodel, you should probably be priced accordingly, right? That's what we mean by looks good, priced right, marketed well. Now the 4th thing is marketing is crucial, period. Let me share a really good story for you right now. Is most agents will take a listing, put a sign in the yard, post it to their Facebook so their 3 friends and their mom can see the post, and they will print out flyers to mail to the neighborhood to try to get another listing, not to sell the house. And then they will put it on the MLS and pray to God that somebody walks in. They'll maybe do open houses. Most agents don't even do that. When we market a home, right, we make content like this to attract people who are looking to buy and sell. We get eyeballs, and we do the same thing for our listings. So yes, we put it in the MLS. Yes, we mail to ideal buyers. Yes, we mail to the neighborhood so everybody knows that it's for sale. Yes, we do open houses every weekend with a lot of signs, like 30 plus signs and all the whole 9 yards. And we make tons of content for it. We get videos. For example, just on our Instagram and TikTok channels, which, believe it or not, people scroll these things to see houses. We have over 1 million views in just the last 30 days. And the buyer for this house, first of all, it was overpriced. Nobody looked at it. Second of all, lowered the price to market value. We advertised it, and a buyer came and saw it on Instagram, not Zillow, not the MLS, not through a mailer. They saw it through Instagram, went to the open house that we hosted in a gated community, and they bought the house. They're in contract on that property, and they needed to sell their house. So when we're going to sell their house, well, guess what we're doing? All of the same things to bring all of the buyers. We just got an offer on their property as well too. So this is a client who's buying and selling at the exact same time. The only reason we found that buyer is because we advertised the house. It did not get found through the MLS. Got found through our advertising. Bought the house. They're also selling. The only reason they could do that deal is because they chose to list it as a hot listing. We advertised it. We got a lot of people in the door. We're getting an offer, and they're going to be opening contract right now. So this is how that buyer and seller wins big time. But these are the cons for selling. So the fourth con was you have to market the property correctly. The days of just throwing it on the MLS and hoping that it's going to work, those days are gone. Thank God, because unfortunately, way too many people hire the agent that just does not do a good job of marketing. And especially in this day and age where everything's online, and if you're watching this video, you know what I'm talking about. So I won't even go any deeper on that. So I'm curious, in the comments down below, what do you think? Is it a good time to buy? Is it a good time to sell? What are your thoughts in the comments down below? In this next video, I'm gonna put up our most recent market update. This is the June 2025 housing market update. Like this video, subscribe to the channel, comment down below, and then watch this video.